All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk She-Hulk, episode 8. We're going to review it. I think this show fundamentally has one of the worst messages for women I've ever seen. And it's interesting because it is written by women. And every single message I'm watching in this show, we start off with, of course, the fact that, She-Hulk catfished someone. So she catfished someone and then framed it as bad the next day that he didn't like the fact that he was catfished and wakes up to someone completely else, completely new. Because the profile was She-Hulk, the date was at She-Hulk, banging was She-Hulk, right? And then wakes up and then Jen Walters is there. And that's framed as being, well, what a bad guy. And they double down on that in a subsequent episode where another female lawyer says to Jen, yeah, F that guy, you deserve better, basically. No, you shouldn't catfish anyone. Then we had the episode where she goes on several dates with Josh. They bone, and then he ghosts her. But the take-home message from the sort of group therapy session with Emil Blonsky and all the villains were, well, she basically made him ghost her because she was nice to him afterwards. She sent a message saying, I can't stop smiling. And that came across thirsty. That was the message of that episode. Now we come to episode 8. And the message of the episode is basically some guy that you do like, that is interested in you, that you do have stuff in common with. And he asks to take you out to dinner. Nah, just go fuck him. Don't worry about it. Like, I understand that female empowerment can come from many, many, many different sources. But when women are the gatekeepers of intercourse, essentially, right? Because men's default is always, yeah, of course, why not? But women are the gatekeepers of that. It seems awfully disempowering when the message is, yeah, just fuck around, don't worry about it. I mean, she is railed through guys in this season 1. Now I know loads of people are really happy with that, but I just think it's fundamentally a weird message. I think, personally. It's a very strange message. And that was essentially what I got from this episode. Now obviously we do get Daredevil here. The introduction is Daredevil. And I feel like that was not the best introduction. We're obviously always going to compare it to the Netflix series. The visceral, hard, gritty nature of that show is difficult to water down for a Disney Plus show. And they don't do a very good job of it. The action was fine. Not great, fine. But, again, not the greatest introduction. And then they revealed this last night. Leapfrog. What a terrible, terrible villain. And he goes to sue... This is what I don't understand. So he goes to sue the guy who's making all of the superhero outfits because he was putting jet fuel in it, in his boosters, when he shouldn't have. So he goes to Jen, but Jen doesn't think to ask any of these things. It's not in Discovery. It's not like normal, standard sort of legal proceedings don't take place. And then it gets thrown out of court. And you're like, why didn't you ask? Why didn't you ask these things? Why didn't you get anyone pertaining to the legal sector to help write this show? Seriously, just anyone, just any input. And I do find it funny and comical that this guy who makes these superhero outfits, this is written by women, right? But their idea of a gala event, a gala event gown for her to go to Female Lawyer of the Year award, fuck is that? Is just a sequin dress. That's it. That's terrible. That is awful. That's the best that this grand, amazing fashion designer can do. Now, there's obviously a fight between Jen and Daredevil. We see it in the clip that dropped. And it was fine. He's sort of cracking wise, making some jokes. my butt remains unwhipped and stuff like that. Like it's Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, very, very good, very, very good. And I'm hoping, I really hope that they do him justice in the next show that they have him in. I really, really do, because you don't get someone like that back and just piss all over the legacy. He is liked for a very good reason. But the music was bad in this show. The only good thing, mind you, in this fight, which is kind of good and bad, in this fight, in the car parking lot, She-Hulk picks up the best car of all time. I own one, so I'm biased. But an LC500. Most beautiful car ever made, I think, personally. Obviously, I wouldn't buy one otherwise. And I was like, oh, it's my car. And then it gets crushed, so I'm like, but it's my car. Good to see it, at the very least. That was the only good thing. And then, Intelligentsia take over the gala event and slut shame She-Hulk. Now, I'm wondering where the message is going. Where's the character arc? So she's banged loads of guys. 3 that we know about in this season so far. And then she's slut-shamed. Where's this going? So she's slut-shamed into people hating her, appearing bad. I don't see where the growth is here as a character. Like characters have to go through growth and things. They have to have character arcs. They don't have to, but, it helps if they do. And all of it is terrible messaging. And then they slut-shame her, but they're the bad ones. Like, slut-shaming's... Like, what is it? Bad, I guess, maybe. But then also don't, let yourself get railed by dudes non-stop. And don't flaunt it around as if, she literally did, because she had loads of people in the court. And again, I don't want to get into that. That's kind of like a socio-political issue. But I just don't understand where the message is. Or where the character arc is, should I say. Where is this going? And they make mention of the Sokovia Accords and they're scrapped, and so that everyone's entitled to their anonymity and things like that, and that changes the MCU moving forwards, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But it's just a bad show, all round. Just a bad show. And I don't understand what's going to happen now. What, loads of Hulks are going to come out? Cool, I guess. Evil Hulks for telling the world that she's boned loads of guys. Bad. Pathetic.